What is up, guys? Julian's way here, and it's been a while. It's been a long while. So Nick is back, and I'm back. We already know who won the Pittsburgh Pro Men's Open Bodybuilding. So before I really elaborate and get into that, let's talk about a little bit about the top five, just briefly. So Crazy coming in at top five. Not surprised about that. I would have probably had Good Vito in front of him, was going to make my prediction video, and I was not able to do that. And I guess it's a little bit of a good thing because I would have had the placings different. I would have had Good Vito coming in front of him, definitely, and maybe even William Bonac, but I'll talk about him in another video. I did do a prediction video for maybe a futuristic Nick versus Good Vito, but like I said, I did not do it. So Bonac versus Martin here. I would say that Bonac has been around for a very long time, taking into consideration, that's the thing about sports. You only have a certain amount of time to be in your prime and be at your best. Even though we've seen Bonac bounce back from a couple of shows back and forth. His last show, he has made improvements where he has gone back, and then he just probably gave himself a break. And some of these guys just have better genetics than some of the other guys, and I really give Bonac, a lot of props, because he was competing like way back with, Big Rom isn't out of it, but he is still competing with guys like Raleigh Winkler and all these guys that do not compete anymore. A lot of guys that have faded away. A few of these guys have passed away that he've competed with. Not going to get into that. But Martin, there was a bit more high expectations from Martin. Like, people thought that, he would have give Derek and Nick run for their money, and he would have probably easily sliced through one of these guys if they had not brought it. But didn't really see that happening unless they were really off. But I gotta give props to Martin. He did look good, and I think he did do a good job. So I give props for him for his placing. Like I said, I think he didn't bring his best package. If he had come in dice, maybe he would have been able definitely to maybe take out Nick Walker, maybe, but not this version of Nick Walker. Definitely. This version of Nick, man, is really one of the best versions of Nick I think we've ever seen, or we've seen in a while. We know he's had some setbacks in the Olympias with his hamstrings and so on. Something is always going on with him. He's always getting injured and not being able to compete. And he really had his mindset on the show. He really brought it. There was a lot of hype, a lot of talking and back and forth on social media, him and Derek and Martin. So, man, these guys look awesome. I mean, from the back, Nick has really improved on his back, the weight on his back, the density. But I would like certain shots I'd probably do a side by side talk, probably do a comparison video separately, But a lot of people on social media really asking. A lot of people are upset. A lot of people are disappointed. Some people have probably lost their money who had bet in advance. But once you see Nick Walker come out, you have seen one of the best versions of Nick, and I know a lot of people had Nick winning the show. So why did he not win? Why did Derek win? People are saying that, oh, that's not the best Derek, but Nick has improved. Nick should have beat him, but that's not really the case. Now, the whole size thing with Nick being big as a house, full as a house, and he's going to explode and all the hype. Bodybuilding is not a game of size. Remember that Derek beat Samson, who is bigger than Nick Walker. Samson is bigger than Nick Walker. Alright, he's a monster, and Derek managed to beat him. So let's not talk about the size. Let's talk about the sharpness here, and both of these guys are sharp. Nick is very dense, really. I like how Nick really look. His best shot for me was his back double bicep, not the front shots. You can see here, Derek's shoulder look fuller, popped out more in the front shots. Nick, we all know, a lot of people say Nick is just blocky, but this wasn't nothing like that. Nick really looked good here. Look at the hamstring drop. I would say on like the side shots, you know, he really looked like his legs look better than from the side than Derek, but I think Derek posed his chest better. You would have been able to see both side of his chest. Nick was like a little bit struggling with that. Look at his back shot here. This is, I would say, Derek back is so complete. That's really tough to say. I would still give that a little bit to Derek because of the development, but in terms of the density there, god damn, I would really say, like, I would say that Nick had him on that. Derek, the backlot spread, Derek look better, but I'm not going to get into this here for pose, you know, like being there on videos, and which video on Instagram video versus a video that you might see on YouTube or somebody might post, whatever. Being there, it's a whole different thing. So these guys had a split decision, unanimous decision, and they gave it to Derek. Why did they give it to Derek? The only thing that I could really say here is maybe the structure, the waist and the structure, the tapered aesthetics. I would give it to Derek. Look, even on the most muscular here, god damn, this is really tough. But you can see the tie-in on Derek's chest is just really super tie-in. Probably gonna do a separate video on these guys side to side, how they look shot for shot. But Nick really had him worried here. You could see like Derek wasn't even sure if he's going to win. Like Nick was more confident. Nick was like, he's just waiting for his name. Derek was like, oh shoots, like Derek was just like so happy that he got it. Like Nick is disappointed as F flipping hell. You could see Nick just trying to hold his composure. I know, like, he was like probably kind of feeling like Flex Wheeler. He just wanted to walk off stage and just say F this flipping crap, but he didn't do it. He didn't flip out, hold his composure. But like I said, it could have gone either ways. If Nick had won, I would not be upset about that. A lot of people would have gone to bed more happy and, you know, wake up more happy than Derek winning. A lot of people had Nick winning, but like I said, there are other things that the judges are looking for that you excuse me, as a fan, other things that you will not see. So we've got to give props to Derek, and even more props to Nick for that amount of layoff and whatever injuries he had. He really put it together, and I do give him props, man. He really looked good. But like I said, Derek is just awesome, man. Derek physique, his structure is really like, it's something different. And being a shorter guy, on the fullness, how his shoulders pop. Look at how his shoulders pop versus Nick. Like the side shots on the leg, I would say Nick with his hamstrings. You see how Derek poses with his chest, like it just looks a little better to me. But Nick's legs, the back, the hamstrings, the thickness, Nick just looks more dominant there. So that's the only thing I can say. The aesthetics, this tapered waist, the smaller waist, and it's not a size game, but Nick really brought it here. If it had come down to anything, I would definitely say that that's the only reason why. The aesthetics, the taperness, the small waist. Kudos to both of these guys. Let me know what you guys think. And I'm sorry for those people that really bet their money on Nick or had Nick winning. I know how you guys feel. I've been there before, but for Pittsburgh Pro winner, Derek Lunsford, also in the honor, Arnold this year. So he's on a winning streak. If he takes the Olympia, that's going to be a hat trick. We'll see later down in the year what happens. All right, that's it. I'm going to wrap the video up. Thank you guys for listening, watching. If you have any comments, you can leave it in the comment section below. Till my next video, you guys have a good one and take care.